Well, I don't know how long I'll be here by myself. Don't really care if it's all night. I wish you guys would show up, but you cannot ruin my good mood tonight. You hear that loud, annoying roar in the background? Let me show you. Hopefully that worked. Who knows? That is my daughter's new central heat and air HVAC system. And I am so thankful. It was over 90 degrees in her house. It's not a Carrier, it's not a Train, but what it is affordable, good, decent, middle of the road unit with a good warranty. And last I checked in with her, she had gone from 90 something degrees down to, I think it was 76 upstairs. So it's still working on cooling it down. Hey, Danielle. I'm just sitting here all by myself, happy as can be. I know it's loud and I do not care. I'm so happy I could sit here and look at that big, huge, gray, hideous thing decorate my patio all day. We're going to have to actually move a section of the fence over a little bit, and I'm going to find some kind of little something to make it look a little nicer so that you don't just see that right when you're sitting here. But today I want to see that for sure. I tell you what, this week sure has taken a turn because we were seriously worried. Yeah, oh, we didn't just get it fixed, we replaced it. That's a brand new unit they have now. Yeah. I'm so happy about it. I'll tell you what, sometimes you just got to keep the faith and keep hoping and praying, and things come through. I'm quite happy about that. A lot of y'all commented on that video too. I heard about new grandbabies on the way. I've got a new one on the way too. And people that were having issues like in Indiana with the flood and the wind and stuff like that. I don't think my daughter sustained any kind of damage or anything like that. She would have told me by now. My other daughter. I have one daughter that's up right by Anderson, Indiana in Middletown, who in the middle of all this other stuff going on with the AC, they had all those storms and all that flooding there in Indianapolis. And then my daughter upstairs was burning up with her house in the 90s, and we didn't know what we were going to do because all the quotes that we were getting and everything was like $16,000, $18,000. And it just so happens there's a guy that's done a whole lot of the work on my house for me, who is just a sweetheart. I thought, well, let me call him. And I called, and he said, I got you, Tammy. We'll take care of this. We'll figure it out. And we didn't have to go down in size to a 3.5, more efficient thing. I was thinking maybe. Nope. 4-ton unit. Went from heating and the gas heating, which was propane, expensive, and electric, to all electric heat and air, which some people might think it's a little more expensive. I doubt it will be here because that old unit was just sucking up electricity. I know it was. And Danielle, it has been a crazy year. It has, and it's flown by too. Thank goodness, because slow torture would not have been good. Anyways, this guy came through for me in such a huge way, it's not even funny. Because not only did he get a brand new unit with a good warranty, installed, took the old unit away, cleaned up all behind himself, and rewired the wiring to switch from the propane to the electric. All for less than half of what other people had quoted me just to replace the unit, nothing else. He didn't make any money on this, and I know he didn't, bless his heart. And that's not the usual Georgia, oh, bless your heart. I mean, really bless his heart. So thankful. So thankful. The sun just started going down here. It's on the other side of the trees. It is 90 degrees. The heat index today is like 96, 97 right now, but that's going to drop real quick. So I don't think I'm in any danger like I was Sunday. That was just crazy. I don't know what I was thinking. So it's not near as hot out here. It doesn't feel near as bad. My fountain's going. My water's not evaporated from the excessive heat. It's just been a doozy this week, let me tell you. It's been crazy. I don't know. Yeah, Danielle, it is. I've known him now for going on close to 4 years. When we first got this house, we had a contractor really rip us off. I was getting to where I used to be able to do a lot of this work myself, but I can't anymore. But I know how it's done because I've been able to do it. And we had a contractor in here that I caught trying to trim corners and not do things the right way, and then charging me for stuff that I knew it was not what it cost, you know. And I booted him real quick. And somebody had referred me to this guy, said he would help me out. And he finished up what the other guy didn't. He unscrewed what the other guy screwed up. And so throughout the years, you know, here and there, anything I need done, I call him. And he's just amazing. But I know he's not an HVAC guy, you know. He does he does electrical, plumbing, all kinds of things, but he's not an HVAC guy. And, oh, thank you, Katie. He is great. Oh, that's sweet. I love you, too. Anyway, when I called him and I told him that, you know, Katie and Molly were in a house that was such and such degrees, and this is the budget I had to work with, and I mean, the budget was laughable. What we had truly was laughable for what we needed. And we had to script and finagle and get that together as it was. And anyway, he said, I got you, Tammy. I got you. Don't you worry, I've got you. And then went above and beyond. Not only did he have us and Katie and Molly, now they don't have the expense of the propane. I'm just astonished that it went from so bad to so good for, I mean, I don't want to say so little of money, because when you're talking thousands of dollars, that's not a little bit of money. But trust me when I say the price was phenomenal. So we're happy. There are still good people in the world, that's for sure. Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, and it's all installed. Everything is done. These are people that, you know, he sends out to certain jobs to do some work for him. And he called this crew yesterday, and he said, I need you to stop what you're doing and I need you out there tomorrow. And they were here, I think it was like 10:15, right around there that they showed up, before 10:30 this morning. And finished and out of here by 5. Just amazing. Completely amazing. Mama Rat, are you in the chat tonight? I was kind of wondering how she was doing in Indiana with the storms, with the water receding and all that. I guess not. Okay. This isn't going to be a long live, well, I mean, it wasn't like long, but the last one was almost 50 minutes, because it is still warm. I mean, it's not 106 degrees, but it's still warm. You know, in the 90s are not any joke. If it cools down some, I'll stay longer, but I feel okay right now. We're doing okay. Danielle says, we have awesome neighbors too. They help us so much since we got old and disabled. I'm blessed to have them. Yes. Yeah, it makes such a huge difference, you know, a huge difference. People don't realize when you get to a certain stage in life, I'm not going to call us old, but you can call us old, Danielle. I'm refusing. I'm hanging on for dear life and fighting it with everything I got. Anyway, but when you do get to a certain stage and there's things you don't do, just everyday things that you don't realize. And so many little things, let alone the big ones. Like, I'm obviously not going to be remodeling any homes anymore. I can't even vacuum my home because of my heart condition. I've got, we've got somebody that comes 40 hours a week here to the house and helps me with the cooking and the cleaning. And matter of fact, cute story. My grandchildren and my soon-to-be son-in-law loves these cookies that I make. And my mom used to make them for me. They're no-bake cookies, but you do got to make the, it's like a batter on the stove with butter and sugar and cocoa and, anyway, vanilla. And then once it boils for 3 minutes, you pour it over your quick oats and peanut butter, and then you put it on your wax paper or your parchment paper or whatever to let it cool. And then, it forms a cookie. And they're very good. So also today, I had made, I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7 dozen. I say I made it. Amanda made most of it. She did most of the work, but I helped. Anyway, so I had made a plate for Amanda to take home to her family and her kids and stuff, and sent 2 plates upstairs, one for Taylor so he wouldn't steal everybody's cookies up there, and then one for Katie and her kids. And they'd had them, I guess, a couple hours. And my two grandchildren, Molly and Tristan, come downstairs a while ago, rubbing their stomach. Grandma, we're out of cookies. Now, mind you, I just sent 18 up there. I said, did Taylor eat your cookies? No. We ate our cookies. Can we have another plate? They said. I said, I'm going to tell you what, one more and that's it. I did give them one more. They're just too cute. They're too cute to say no to, and I know that's not good, but they're really cute. So I gave them one more plate of cookies, and hopefully they'll make them last, or they're going to have some belly aches tonight maybe. I don't know. Katie, if you're still on here, sorry about that, but I couldn't tell them no. Anyway, I told them if they came down and asked for more, Grandpa would get mad because of somebody eating all his cookies. I like them too, but I like more salty things than I do sweet. I do have a sweet tooth, but like well, not without my teeth, I'm not the nuts and peanuts, but I still do boiled peanuts. But I like chips and crackers and stuff like that. All things that are not good for me. That's basically it. I like everything that's not good for me. Katie said she only let him have one cookie from the new plate and told him no more until after dinner. That's right, Danielle. Only one more. Oh my goodness. So they ate all that before dinner. I don't know how much I'd let them have after dinner, Katie. They're going to make themselves sick. Look at this. Mosquito had the nerve to bite me on my perfect day here. I'm sitting here. I'm having a good day. How dare him? Anyway. So, it's been a good day. New AC and homemade cookies. So, it doesn't get much better than that. I can't wait to see what it sounds like or how long it stays off and on. It's still hot here, so I doubt it's gonna kick off anytime soon. I'm just so happy hearing it, knowing it's cooling them down up there. Well, I looked at our weather, and this week, it's still miserable all week, but it looks like next week the highs are like mid-80s and stuff. So, back to normal maybe. It's just been miserable, miserable, miserable. Oh, I hate all these bugs, Danielle. Where I live, it's gorgeous. There's like a huge forest out behind me. And, when we were looking at the house and we bought it, we thought how nice it would be with the privacy. Our front yard slopes down this, well, mostly it's a gentle hill. It gets a little steep, I guess, at one point. But, so it's like we're cradled with the woods, kind of, and I liked that, thought how sweet that was. Well, let me tell you what, it's nice to listen to. But I never seen so many bugs, gnats and wasps and spiders and flies, and then you add in the snakes and there's also the wild hogs too, and bobcats and bears. I don't mind the bears, and the deer and the coyotes, and I'm like, it's crazy. But oh, and I forgot too, there's lizards and what else? Millipedes and centipedes, and the list is never ending. And I've been told it's because we live by all these trees and these woods. So if I were to do it again, I don't know if I'd do it. I love the peacefulness of it, but it's aggravating. I literally keep a bug zapper inside my house because of gnats and this, that, and the other, to make sure that they don't get out of control. Oh, hey, Alfonso. Glad you could join us. Yes, Danielle, I do. I have a zoo, a hot zoo. That's what I have. And I have right out there, I got a great big one on like spikes that go in the ground, a solar bug zapper. And I got a thing up there, a trap to catch wasps. It's ridiculous. I feel like it's a never-ending battle that you can't ever win. I am, Alfonso. Thank you. I hope you are too. I was telling everybody before you got here, my daughter has air now. We got a new unit in. I saw that, and I think that photo that you sent me for the mug will look great. I haven't had a chance to put it on the thing and send it up there and have them give me a price on what it'll be and all that yet, but I'm going to do that. It's just, we had chaos here, so I had to get some stuff taken care of for my family, but I absolutely am going to do that for you. And I think that's going to look so good. I really do. We're getting close to the end of the month where we're going to do the wheel spin and draw for the other Grammie Tammy mug and see who wins that. Danielle, do you got yours right now? Well, they're not cheap, honestly. The ones that I get that I use with mine, the custom made ones, I think they run around $30. That's not cheap for a mug. But, you know, they're nice. And mine is just, I love it. I absolutely love it. I have never had, I mean, we're talking, I've been sitting out here in 90-degree weather. My ice, I've been out here now for about 45 minutes to an hour. My ice is still up to here. I'm not kidding. I'll show you. Hopefully I don't dump this everywhere. Can you see that? Can you guys see that? Look at that. That's, I mean, that's really good. Yep. That's important. I'm picky about my Diet Coke. Oh my, oh no. I know these ones that I order that I get, they are packaged excellent. They take a little long for shipping sometimes. They're not the quickest people that ship, but it's quality. And I think after I pay for shipping, I mean, usually I order more than one, but after I pay for shipping, it's, if I was just ordering one, I think with shipping and taxes, it's like $35, $36 custom. So that's pretty good. I think it's a good price for a good product. My poor hand. I hate mosquitoes. And they love me. I can sit outside like if we're all out at the swing fire pit and everything. There can be me and 5 or 6 other people. And I promise you, I'll have 20 bites on me and they won't have a one. They love me. My mom used to tell me it was because I was so sweet. I don't know. You know what, Danielle? I used to be nothing but Diet Pepsi. Yeah, usually. But the company I buy for, there is a money-back guarantee. Absolutely. There yet. And if they don't have one, you shouldn't be buying from them, Alfonso. Yeah, I used to drink Diet Pepsi. I'm glad you like it, Danielle. And then they changed their formula. I think it was like 5-10 years ago. They changed it. And it tasted way too sweet for me. I didn't like it anymore. So I just switched to Diet Coke. And now I'm just what I used to like years and years ago, which everybody's probably going to be like, ew, I used to love Tab and Fresca, especially Fresca. But Fresca went away for a while, and then they brought it back, and then they've changed it, and there's like 2 or 3 different kinds of Fresca, and I'm always confused about which one to get. And I think I've tried every kind they have now, and none of them taste like the original, not a one of them. So that don't work. So I just drink my Diet Coke. But I mean, it's not just a Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke for me. I like fountain drinks. I like, if I go out, for them to have a styrofoam cup. Oh, see, I can't drink the regular. It just tastes like straight up syrup to me. And I know the diet soda is not good for me at all. I know that. But that's what I like. They used to have a drink too, like a peach soda that I really liked. But they change stuff all the time. I don't do well with change, I don't think, anymore. I miss a lot of stuff. Let's see. press on CDs and vinyl professionally, and the pressing plant have you sign a liability waiver saying that it's produced and shipped at your own risk. Wow. I don't know. So what do? Do you sing or do you play an instrument, Alfonso, or a little of both? I do both. Well, I used to sing, but my voice is not great anymore. It's gotten old and crackly, and I've lost some of my vocal range too. That's right, Danielle. That's right. We'll just take our chances and enjoy life. Oh, I play the piano too. Harmonica, banjo, and guitar. Well, that's awesome, Alfonso. I play the saxophone. I used to play the clarinet, but I probably couldn't remember any of it now. I can dabble a little bit with the guitar, just some chords and stuff, nothing fancy. But I am highly proficient, efficient, whatever you want to call it, with the piano. I think I told you guys that I used to work for the schools in Iowa. I was their piano accompanist. Old time Western country, gospel, Mexican folk. Nice. Nice. My family is actually related, closely related, to the Carters in bluegrass music. I mean, they pretty much put bluegrass music on the map. And, you know, June Carter Cash, she was obviously distantly related to us, but my grandmother's mother was a Carter. My grandmother was a Carter, my mom's mom. And Katie, I do have on it, but it's marked as private. My videos of me singing and playing the piano, yes. They're on my YouTube still, but they're marked as private. I don't want everybody watching me do that. Nobody wants to see that mess. I had made some videos a while back before I got too sick, but I was starting to get sick, and I thought, well, I want to have something to save that my kids have, you know, me playing and singing, and I made sure I did some of their favorite songs. Katie always liked for me to do Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. I did that one. And Kimberly Reagan always loved for me to play Great Balls of Fire by Jerry Lee Lewis, so I did that. Oh, I can't do all that stuff, Alfonso. I don't know how to do the well, I mean, I've overdubbed when I was like doing video and things, but I don't think I'll ever be a one-man band, that's for sure. Alfonso, if you want to put the link to it in here, you can. The link to your YouTube channel, I don't mind. I know there's some people that are funny about stuff like that. I don't care. We're all friends here. I've been to your channel, but I didn't see any of your music. I saw some train videos. I guess I should look a little harder next time. I don't know, one of these days I might get brave enough to put up one of my songs and turn it public instead of private. We'll see. I don't know. I recorded them back in. Actually, what I did, this is so funny. It was like electronic baby grand, but it was like top of the line, nice wooden cabinet, looked nice, you know, and sounded good too. And I made this thing out of like rope and hung a hook in the ceiling to where it literally held the phone up over my head like this so that you could see my hands and see me a little bit. And I mean, the contortions I had to go to stop and start and all that are funny, but you know, it worked. I guess a tripod would have been smarter, but I wanted it to be up and over to see the keyboard. Now, that was the main thing. You can see me a little bit on there, but mainly the keyboard's what I wanted to show. So, that's what I did back in, let's see, it was right before we moved to Iowa. Probably, let's see, 2013 maybe that I did it. About 13 years ago. Yeah, obviously, I love the acoustic piano too. But the piano I had a Korg. And like I said, it was top of the line and it sounded good. It had the weighted keys and all that too. Every now and then I would play with some of the presets, you know, to make it sound silly or whatever, but I love the acoustic piano. I mean, you know, if I could have anything I wanted, I would have had a huge concert Grand Steinway and Sons. But I didn't have the room for it, and my wallet definitely did not accommodate that either. Yeah, the Korgs, it was amazing. Yeah. When we lived in Virginia, I had found somebody was giving away a baby grand piano, and I don't even remember the brand. I think it might have been a Baldwin, or it could have been something else. I don't remember, something off-brand, I think. But it sounded really, really nice, but the cabinet on it was horrific. But the soundboard was great, and the piano, you know, the guts of it were amazing. So, we were going to refinish it, because I had refinished an upright 1892 Kingsbury baby grand before, and it was a chore to do it, and that thing had to be redone top to bottom. But this one that I had in Virginia, I got the idea. I thought, well, I don't have to just stick to normal piano colors. And I had this great big room right when you walked in the house. It was a huge, great room. You know, you would walk up the steps to the second floor. There was a hallway that overlooked this room. So the ceilings were huge. The acoustics were amazing in it too. Anyway, so I thought, I want to paint it yellow. And right on the sides of, you know, there's your keyboard, and then the sides of the cabinet right there, if you like spread your arms out and reached out on the outside, I wanted to put these pretty little wildflowers, different little colors on there. And that's exactly what I did. And then we, you know, sealed it all with the polyurethane and all that. And I called it my Banana Pananer because it was yellow. And I used to sit at that thing for hours, and every now and then my mailman, if he showed up and I didn't realize he was there and I was singing and playing, he would stand there for a while and listen until I looked up and would see him. And one time what was that song I was doing that I was really, I think it was Brick House. I don't remember, but one of them to where I was just like mimicking the vocal in the song instead of just sounding like my voice, doing the whole 9 yards and really getting into it. And I looked up and he's dancing on my front porch, smiling, saying, "Don't stop, don't stop." Oh my goodness. I sure do miss my piano. The one I have now, well, I don't have it anymore. I gave it to Molly. It's upstairs. I hope she plays it. I really, really hope she does. I was starting to teach her right when I got so bad that it hurt me. All right, Alfonso. Well, I'm glad you stopped in. It's so sweet of you to stop in and say hi. Big hugs back to you, too, and enjoy your dinner. I'm sure I'll see you again in the chat between now and then. And, of course, we'll do another live on Sunday. Yeah, Danielle, I've had some moments on the piano. I have been known to have a drink or two, and when I do Great Balls of Fire, use other body parts other than my hands and fingers and hit some notes with my feet and my butt and everything. And everything else. So, you know, You gotta love it. I loved my piano. Matter of fact, when I got married, we had to have the preacher that married us, it was mandatory that he wouldn't marry you unless you have one counseling session with him. And he knew me well. Um, he played the piano as well, and my mother had known him when he was a little boy. She was a church secretary, and he told my soon-to-be husband at the time, the only advice I have to give you is there needs to be a piano in that house, because you are going to suffer greatly if you don't have one. Because if I was angry, I'd play the piano. Loud, hard, fast. Play the piano. If I was upset, I'd play the piano. I'd sit there and I'd sob and cry and I'd play. And eventually I would realize that I was no longer mad or sad or whatever. It was always, you know, just part of me. Matter of fact, back when I was, oh shoot, I couldn't have been more than 3 or 4 years old. It was right after Dad died. I called him Big Nank, my dad's dad. And I got to do the slow southern storyteller part of this for you. I'm sorry. The reason I called him Big Nank was because he was so upset about, he was very vain, about being called Grandpa, and his name was Henry. He would try to get me to say Big Hank, because he didn't want to be called Grandpa. Vanity thing. So I couldn't say Big Hank. It came out Big Nank. And then when I got old enough, and my mother tried to convince him to let me call him something else, it just stuck. And there were, you know, I went through the awkward teens where I was embarrassed to let anybody know I called him that, but who cares? He was my Big Nank. Anyway, he used to go down to Nashville. He was friends with little Jimmy Dickens. And that's right, he was a wise man. Apparently, but that was my first husband. He wasn't as wise. Grumpy Grandpa's my second husband. Anyway, my Big Nank would go down to Nashville to these recording sessions back when they had a lot of radio. I think back before TV, maybe. They'd have them sit in and play the guitar and sing. And I mean, he was friends with the people at the Grand Ole Opry and stuff like that. So he also could play the piano a little bit. And Mom had her piano, because she could play a little bit, fairly decent, in the living room. And I wasn't more than 3 or 4 years old. And my Big Nank, I was sitting on the piano stool, just sort of plunk, 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 swinging my legs, little bitty. Katie, that's funny. She said she'd ask what a Big Nank was, and when people would ask what that was, and she used to say, I don't know, it's just who he is. Did you just now realize that that's what the story was? I don't think I ever told you. Anyway, so he reached over around my little shoulder and took his fist, and on the block keys went ba-da-da, bump, bump, with his thumb, ba-da-da, bump, bump, ba-da-bum, bump, bump, ba-da-bum, bump, bump, ba-da-bum, bump, bump, ba-da-bum, bump, bump, and then bump, 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 just the black keys. But it was the rhythm, and it was the first thing he did, and I looked at him, my eyes got real big, and I took my little hand, which my fist wasn't very big enough, so I had to kind of move and did it, but I replicated it exactly how he did it. My mom come running when he said, did you hear her? Like I thought they discovered a Beethoven prodigy or something. Anyway, then he told me, he showed me another song about a month later, and I'm sure Mom was glad, because she was probably really tired of hearing that ba-da-dum-bum-bum over and over and over. And after that, we went to this little place in Louisville, and I wasn't in school yet. I can remember I was not in elementary school yet, maybe kindergarten. But there was this little book, and it was nursery rhymes. And it was just about yay big, and it was color-coded for the keys. So it had where the notes were on the line, but there were colors. So if you put it also had this thing that unfolded, you laid it in front of the keys, like behind them. So if you looked at red, you knew to play this note. Green, you knew to play this note. And you started out the first song or two, where you could play these songs. And then it showed where there was like 3 colors together, and that was a chord. So within a month of having this book, I was playing the little songs with the chord. And then I wanted to know what those notes were, and I wanted to know how come in Mom's books they didn't have any colors, and I wanted to play bigger songs. So everything I could get my hands on, I played, and I figured it out. And I really learned, by ear like that, and then through my little book. And so then Mom thought, well, I better sign her up for lessons. And I went to Miss Hartzell, my piano teacher, for lessons. She was a preacher's wife at a different church there in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And she always wanted to play for me and sing. And she was a very big, demonstrative woman. And she would move my fingers and tell me, you need to put them this way and this way. And that's not how I was comfortable. And she'd tell me, well, that's the proper way to do it. And I'd say, but that's not how I do it. And she said, well, we're going to teach you how to do it the proper way. And I'd tell her, I don't want to do it the proper way. I want to do it my way. And then for the recitals, we had to memorize classical music. And I could play classical, after a certain point. But I didn't want to. I wanted other kinds, too. I wanted to pick my own songs. Needless to say, my lessons lasted less than 2 years with Miss Hartzell. But it was enough of the background, along with what my big nank had taught me and my mom had taught me and what I'd figured out on my own, that, in school, of course, I took more. I had obviously more training after that. But growing up, that was it. That was it. I don't know if I'm a natural, Danielle, but I love it. I've taught throughout the years too. I have taught others to play, but that's the one thing I hate more than anything is teaching piano, because it's not fun to teach. For me, it's not anyway. And it turned something I love into something I dreaded and a job. So every time I'd get a student, once they were done, I was so relieved. It would be years before I'd take another one, because I loved my piano. I didn't really like sharing it with anybody. I was an only child. Sharing wasn't my strong point. Katie, what's the temperature up there now? I can't believe this thing is still running. I'm worried they got the setting wrong or something. It's not bothering me. I want you to be cool. I just want to know, what's the temperature upstairs? Heavily vested in this. I got to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing and everything. That traumatized me. Probably not as much as it traumatized my kiddo and my granddaughter, grandson. I thought for sure when they pulled the old unit out there was going to be like snake skin, or, cause it's outside. And all the stuff that's been under it for 20 years. Oh my goodness. That's taking a long time to cool it down. I guess it does though, because, once your furniture and all your stuff in the house gets hot, it's got to cool everything. Stronger under the vent than it ever has. Okay. Oh, I just hope it doesn't run forever. Mercy. I didn't mean to monopolize the conversation and get off on a tangent about my piano, but I sure do miss it. Rocky probably misses me having it too, because now if I'm angry, I don't have a piano to go sit down at and ignore him. He just pretty much has to roll with the punches. But I really, honestly, I don't get as angry as I used to when I was younger. I had a heck of a temper. We loved when you did you really? Katie, do you know that I always worried that y'all were sick of hearing me and wished I would stop? That it was bothering you? Oh, that's so sweet of you to tell me that. You're an only child too, Danielle? Ah, I'm surprised you have one if you were an only child. I did the opposite. I did, I was lonely when I was little. I didn't have anybody to blame anything on. I always wanted brothers and sisters, and I didn't have any, so I wanted to make sure I had a big family. Lucky for Kimberly Reagan, my youngest. I think things swing back and forth. You know, you'll have 10 or 20 year periods where everybody only has like one or two children, and then you see all these families with 4 or 5 children for 10 years or so, and then it goes back, and it's the one that has like, you know, you hear about people that have like 8 and 10 and 12, and I'm not talking about where they accidentally have multiple births, but people that honestly choose. Nothing against you, Katie. I love you. I love all of y'all. But people that choose to have 8, 9, and 10 kids, that is insane to me. I don't know how they do it, because I'm gonna tell one was easy, but you know, you like them to have a brother or sister so that they can play on their own and not occupy 24/7 of your time, and that's nice. But then when you throw the third one in the mix and you have one child more than you have hands, that's when I realize, uh-oh, this is why everybody talks about they have 2 children. And I love my third son, or my third child, Joseph. I love him dearly, but that's when it got hard. It wasn't the first and the second. It was the third. And he wasn't my hardest child by any means, probably one of my easiest. But it's just, so I can't imagine having 8, 9, or 10. Oh, you didn't? Oh, I did, Danielle. I had, well, see, I felt like I didn't have a real family, because it was just Mom and I. Used to tell her, no, we're not a real family, because my dad died when I was 3 and she didn't remarry. It was just the 2 of us. And I was the only grandchild on my dad's mom and her husband, my step-grandfather. I was the only grandchild. My dad's dad, I was the only grandchild. My mom's mom, I was the only granddaughter. She had 3 other grandsons. And my mom's dad, I was the only granddaughter. So, yeah, Molly and Aislinn would like to be an only child. Your brother Daniel would have liked to have been an only child too. That's funny. But no, why didn't you want brothers and sisters, Danielle? I'm just curious. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. I'm not trying to pry. I find that fascinating. I just assumed everybody wants what they don't have. You know, at least I do. And Molly may act like she wants to be an only child, Katie, but I don't think she'd like that at all. She doesn't like sharing your attention, but she likes having somebody around and somebody to play with and share things with. I think she thinks that because she's got siblings, but if she didn't, I think she'd really miss them. I think Aislinn would probably be fine without any siblings. She'd be like, okay. If one more mosquito bites me, yeah, that's what I thought, Katie. I tell you what, these mosquitoes, I got like 5 bites. We got to put Taylor to work soon because it's bothering me that I can see that old propane tank over there, Katie. We got to put that fence panel up sideways so that I can't see it. All of them? Tell me truth, they're not on here, only you, Katie. Are they all your best friends? By the way, people, Katie was my informer. She is the oldest of 4, and nothing happened in that house that she didn't come tell me about. Well, some things did. I found out some things later, but for the most part, she couldn't keep a secret. She'd get her brothers and sister up and show them their Christmas presents if she could ahead of time. She's the one that, Mom, don't tell anybody I told you, but Mom, I need to tell you this, and you know, act like it was painful for her to do it, but you could just see in her little face she was so excited to tell everything she knew. Okay. Yeah. That was the good part about being an only child. My own bedroom, my own toys. I didn't have to vie for anybody's time. Oh, I like that part of it, don't get me wrong. And I would have, you know, if I had had it both ways, I probably would have chose an only child. But when it got really hard being an only child was when Mom got sick. And, you know, Dad had died young and she'd never remarried, so it was all on me. My kids helped too, but not that much. Joe did quite a bit, but I didn't want them to have to, you know, I kept a whole lot from them because I didn't want them to be hurt. They loved their grandmother. So, yeah, that's what was hard. Not having anybody, you know, when I lost Mom, it's like, you know, there was really nobody left that knew my story, you know, every little bit of me from when I was born on up, you know. So that was really hard. I mean, obviously I missed her, that was first and foremost, but I mean, in addition to that, I had a hard time with that. It made me feel extremely alone. But, you know, gotta roll with the punches. But you know what? See here, I guess that's the difference. Because a lot of my friends that I did have when I was growing up, they had their own bedrooms. And they didn't have to share a lot of things. So I guess, you know, it's just whatever your experience is, how it can change your outlook and how you look at stuff. But I had a very narrow circle of friends too. Okay, Danielle, I'm about ready to go inside too because I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes. Oh no, well hurry up and go before everything gets soaking wet. I will talk to you soon too. I just love you. I so enjoy our talks. Be it on the Grammie Tammy Jammy Talks or on our lives. I really enjoy you, Danielle. I do. I appreciate you. You go get your windows shut and we'll talk more later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, my friend. All right, Catherine Ann, and I don't know who else is still on here, but I'm going to wrap this up. It's been 54 minutes, and I think I got at least one mosquito bite every 10 minutes. I don't know what's wrong with them today, but they're out in force. I love you guys. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for sitting here with me on my patio. I really enjoy talking to you. And I will be back here tomorrow morning, covered up so the mosquitoes can't eat me up, for our Grammie Tammy Jammy Talk sometime between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., whatever the case may be. But we're all cool here inside in northern Georgia now again. We're good to go. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.